Hello and welcome back to yet another Let's Play channel. I'm Vic, and today we're getting into something new. In case you don't recognize it, this is King's Quest, which is sort of a continuation. It's another game in the very old King's Quest series, and it actually included Sierra, which I thought was long defunct. As far as I know, it doesn't include any of the original authors. But the setting of the game is going to be... well, we'll get into that. No need to spoil it. I think Game Grumps did maybe chapters 1 and 2. I think maybe they got into chapter 3 before they gave up. But maybe it was chapter 2. Anyway, the game originally came out, I think, in like 2015, and they released 5 chapters in total over some period. And I bought it thinking it looked fun, and then decided to wait for everything to be out, and then forgot about it. So here we are. Five chapters. Well, I don't think we need to start in chapter 5. Oh, all right. Certainly the art has grown a great deal since the original King's Quest came out. I'm sure they would have been delighted to come up with something like this. And I really like this art style. I don't know what to call it. It sort of feels like cell shaded, but without the cell lines. I don't know if that's a thing or if it's something else. I'm not an animator, digital or otherwise. So the drip's the same every time. What have I got in my baggage? Whole lot of nothing. Oh, here we go. Interact with some things. I have no idea what my objective is. Is my boy thirsty? Or are we're going in? All right.
I had not been back there in years, but it was the last place left to look.
And I do believe we have some rather famous voice actors that are going to be involved, including that one we just heard. Whose name I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure he's the doctor from Back to the Future, or an impersonator thereof. Uh-oh. Maybe I should have checked.
It was not exactly as I remembered it, but it wasn't all that different either.
Maybe I should have checked to see if there was anywhere else I could go. That is an impressive waterfall. Not very athletic for a spry young man, am I?
2 odd contraptions guarded the lost treasure. I would have to turn one and see what happened.
Would I, though? I mean, what if I just go this way? Alright, well, I guess that was uninteresting. I like this one. now I like this one. Oh.
And that's what would have happened if I turned the left switch. But since I am here telling this story, you already know that I pulled the right one.
Okay, so there's a nice little bit of context there that I will not elaborate upon. Off we go. Whole lot of mattresses down here. I'm not sure what that's about.
Buckets, barrels, butter churns, and beds were jammed into every nook and cranny of that cave. It all seems so familiar.
Well, why did it seem familiar,
Even though the bed was very comfortable, this was no time to hide under the covers.
I wonder if that's going to be useful later.
Wait. Hold on, Grandpa. I don't remember this part of the story. Beds hanging from stalactites?
We'll get there, Gwendolyn. Don't worry. No detail in this story will be overlooked. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. As I treaded through the river of rumbling trundles, I feared I knew the source of that deafening wind.
That bridge makes 0 sense.
Nestled beneath a slumbering pile of teeth and claws was...
Fabled mirror.
Oh, so you remember this part of the story.
Well, dragons are my favorite.
You want to tell this part?
Yes. King Edward sent me, the greatest knight in all of Daventry, on a quest to return his stolen mirror. A gigantic, hulking beast of a dragon was the last thing in my way to... My way, too. Add a shinier hat to my collection.
What do we have over here? Oh.
I tried to turn that crazy contraption, but it was missing a handle. Someone tampered with it, creating some silly conundrum.
Well, I guess we better go and retrieve some items so that we can use them. I bet I can hide in this bed too.
As I was saying, this was no time to take a nap.
And yet,
Volumes of old books with foreboding titles clutter the shelves of that strange bedroom. How to Tame a Dragon, Breaking the Spirit of Hideous Beasts, Amateur Spells to Impress Your Friends with. No books about recovering missing handles, though.
and yet, why can I look around? Am I just being introduced to an interface here, or... Well, it doesn't seem that I can activate it on anything.
Volumes of old books with foreboding.
So, the missing handle was booby-trapped? What did you do?
Well, I used my cleverness to outsmart the trap. Then I used my cleverness to hide.
There we go. Oh, poor guy's got an arrow right in his eyeball.
Luckily, that half-blinded beast never noticed me in bed.
A dragon's eye must be really hard to pierce with an arrow. At archery lessons, I can barely hit a hay bale.
It is indeed a feat only for skilled archers. I tried to turn that crazy contraption, but it was missing a handle. Someone tampered with it, creating some silly conundrum.
What did you use to fix the...
Sorry, kid. Well, I'm sure that didn't wake up any dragons, so I'll just continue on my way.
The dragon's chains were coiled around a gigantic switch mounted to the cave wall. This cave seemed to be filled with failed adventures.
That sword looks nice.
This cave seemed to be filled with failed adventures.
No sword for me. Daventry's greatest knight, no sword whatsoever.
After he briefly basked in the sun, the narcoleptic dragon went back to snoring.
I'd probably sleep all day too, if Amira was my only friend.
Well, I was thinking I was going to take that jar. That's a lot of dead folk. What's over here? Nothing? Alright. Well, we're just gonna play this game, I guess. Yeah. Just a little bypass. And then we're good. Convenient. Alright, and now we get to play the ever frustrating fixed perspective navigation game. Which, if we're being honest, if we could just do it in the first person, would be ever so easy. Well, should I find out what happens if I go over here? Nom. Nom. Alright.
You marched right into a ferocious dragon's mouth.
I was just making sure you were still paying attention.
Oh man, I have to start all the way back here. I guess I might have to try and avoid deliberate deaths. They were at least polite enough to make the path appropriately diagonal for the keyboard and mouse player. That could have been a lot more rude, for sure. Alright, no crunchings and munchings. So we'll go over this way instead.
Whoever designed this trap thought they were pretty clever, but I would probably find a way to hit that unreachable switch.
Would you now? Is it over this way? Is it this dude's bow? Oh. It's that scene. Alright, we'll keep that guy in mind. So do I aim direct? Pachoom! I sure do. Alright, buddy. Buddy. Bow. Thanks for the bow, yes. Who built all this shit? And why would they build it out of mattresses?
The mirror called out to me.
Help! You know, as dragon hordes go, this one is pretty pathetic. But on the other hand, as dragons go, this one is pretty collared. What? It looks like I'm standing on a meat platform.
A ridiculous feeding contraption was cobbled together to keep the beast and probably its owner alive.
Wow. That's fancy. And who owns the beast? Alright, dragon now done eating. And resumed sleeping. And I can't go back this way. And it seems that I discarded my epic bow. Alright, I shouldn't be tormenting the pathetic dragon. Oh. Can you get over there? Do I want to be over there? Alright. There we go. Mirror get. Well, I hope I didn't miss anything in the cave. I don't know that there is a lot of missable, though. Aside from the kind that leads to, doom. No, thank you. I definitely...
Can you put my mouthwash back on the shelf, please? Now, where was I?
I definitely pressed S, though. Was I supposed to hold it? I was probably supposed to hold it. No, that's better. And more shooty? Uh-oh. Oh, maybe he does have a little bit of athletic in him. He was just saving it for the special occasion. Bye-bye. Again, who put all them beds up there? And why on earth would they have done that? Except for Chekhov's gun. In reverse.
With a magic mirror safely in my possession, I dreamt of the Daventry I would be rewarded with, and the kingdom it could become. Split second, I had three choices in front of me. Any would clear my path to safety, and all would have rippling consequences.
Well, how about Belle? All right.
Shaking and my arms could barely grip the rope, but with the last of my strength, I climbed out of the well and headed back to the castle. Ever since the magic mirror returned, its reflections have warned the kingdom of danger, kept our family safe, and it has exposed many troublesome crumbs tangled in my beard.
Yeah. King Edward was so proud that you returned his lost treasure that he made you king. Everyone knows that part. Now, can we get back to that dragon?
Gwendolyn, there is so much more to my stories than dragons. I hope this old cap will be remembered for far more than the action tattered across its brim, sewn into the seams of many hidden adventures. All right, let's get back to the dragon.
Tell me everything. How did you know shooting the bell would distract him?
Over the years, I realized that the dragon was not the despicable, hideous beast Daventry had made him out to be. He was just a caged animal that was very hungry. I, too, would be violently angry if I could only eat when my neglectful owner rang the bell. I know it was a sneaky trick, but I certainly wasn't going to set a dragon loose on the town or participate in any more abuse.
You really thought that through, Grandpa. I would have tricked them, too. Back home, they call me Gwendolyn the Smarty Pants.
You come from a long line of logically minded nobles, and one very clever dentist.
All right, you two. Grandpa needs to rest. Gwendolyn, it's way past your bedtime.
Sleep well, Grandpa. I'll be back first thing in the morning.
I don't need rest. I'm as spry as I've ever been, though I wouldn't mind a slice of magic fruit.
You've already had one, son.
Well, hello, cousin.
Guards!
I'm glad you're finally here. He's been asking about you for days. I had to sit through the same story 5 times.
We got here as fast as we could, and I like Grandpa's stories, especially the ones with dragons.
Ah, yes, the legendary beast he outsmarted with its own dinner bell. I don't know if he forgets that I've heard that story before, or if he just doesn't care, but he loves telling it to anyone that will listen. I'm pretty sure I heard the nursemaids telling his same jokes in the hall.
Have you heard anything the doctors are saying?
Yes, doctors, wizards, magic elves. Grandfather is fine, Gwendolyn. They all say the same thing. He's just old. He still has a few good years left. Look, we're all excited that your family made the trip, but there's no need to worry. You should get some rest. I'm sure you're scheduled for a full morning of Grandfather's hilarious ramblings.
Oh, I'm also scheduled for the tournament tomorrow.
Ah, yes, the fencing tournament. You'll love it. I'm, of course, favored to win, and will make sure you have the very best seat to view my victory. The courtyard will be filled with important people and delicious hors d'oeuvres.
Oh, I'm actually competing in the tournament.
I had no idea we were hosting a junior tournament. That's incredible. In that case, I will gladly be there to cheer you on and eat delectable appetizers.
Nope, no junior tournament. I'll be squaring off against you.
I see. Well, perhaps this is the time to stop listening to stories and finally make some of your own. Good night, Gwendolyn. Sleep well.
Come in, Gwendolyn. You can set those on the nightstand.
Grandma said to take 3 spoonfuls of each.
I'll get to those. No need to fuss over me. Now, let's talk about far more important issues, like that fencing tournament. I hear you're competing.
Well, I signed up, but I'm not so sure anymore.
Nonsense. If it's Gart you're worried about, he's no bother. After all, I only learned that you entered after he complained about it all morning. Threatened, I'm guessing. There are many ways to win a duel. I, for one, have always been fond of... thinking of the problem in a different way, and finding a clever distraction to create a moment of victory. Speaking of, that reminds me of a story. One I know you haven't heard before. When I was a much younger lad, before I was a knight, before I'd been to Daventry, and even before I'd seen a dragon. It's a tale about a tournament that changed my life. It is a long story, but I shall tell it briefly.
Well, Triumph, this looks as good a place as any to camp for the night. Let's rest up. We have a big day tomorrow.
It just goes on and on, doesn't it? Until it doesn't.
After gracefully rappelling down the cliff, I welcomed the sight of an actual road, the first sign of civilization.
And the last sign of this episode, because we are all out of time. Come back and see me again next time, and we'll see what's next in store for young Graham. Talk to you soon.